Hi, everybody. It's Kristin. Welcome to my daily remote work location independent live stream here on Traveling with Kristin, Digital Nomad TV. And I'm sorry I'm a bit late. It has been a really long day and it's not over yet. And so I was thinking today would be a great day to discuss how to find the best remote jobs because a lot of people associate being a digital nomad or being a remote worker with some type of like ninja, crazy entrepreneurship, hacking, passive income, automated revenue, like juju of some kind. Hey, Tech Lords, how's it going? Happy Monday to you and your lovely retired lifestyle. So you might not need, well, you might not need that on this live stream, but maybe. Oh, you already have your stuff set up with your investing in crypto and things. But as a long time, I've been self-employed my entire life, like my entire career. I think in high school, I had, I guess, traditional jobs. I was a lifeguard. I worked at a surf shop. I did things like that. And then after college and my internships, ever since I've been self-employed in some way, shape, or form through real estate, development, investing, and in the past 8 years now, my own online remote international relocation company. So since the term digital nomad has gotten a lot bigger in the past like 5 years maybe, it's been associated a lot with really specific jobs by the people who have, I guess, propagated the image of the remote worker and digital nomad. And a lot of that at the beginning had to do with the 4-hour work week by Tim Ferriss and the way that he explained how you could automate a lot of work, you could automate your revenue, you could outsource and delegate tasks and things like that, which is true. And there's a whole another topic that we can talk about, how to set up online businesses or how to set up specific types of businesses, including passive and automated revenue. But there are so many other ways to become a digital nomad, and a lot of it is just from regular remote jobs. So there's been some ongoing conversations here in my co-working space about being an entrepreneur versus having a remote job. And so today, there's pros and cons to each, but today I want to give you guys some tips on how you can find remote jobs so that you can work from home, work remotely while you're traveling, or any combination of those things. Thank you, Tech Lords. I follow you because digital nomads and crypto are very closely related. Very true. And what you do is intelligent. Thank you. Intelligent and nerdy, but hopefully helpful. So hey guys, for anyone tuning in. So today I just wanted to run through some of the primary ways that you can find a remote job. So if you or your friends or family members or anyone is interested in where you can find it, hopefully some of these help. And of course, as usual, let me know if you have any questions in the comments. So I've made some notes here so I don't forget anything because it's a lot of technical information. But the top ways that I've come up with to find a remote job are through remote work websites. So I'll just list them and then explain a little bit about each one. Remote work websites, Facebook groups, digital nomad forums, your own personal network, applying directly to companies, whether they are traditional companies or fully distributed companies. Virtual job fairs, digital nomad conferences and events, so expanding on your personal network. LinkedIn, freelancing, which is kind of working for yourself. And then as I mentioned before, creating your own brand or your own identity or your own company. So we're gonna focus basically on the top ones because those are the ways to just find a job without having to create something completely new. So the most common way of finding a remote job is through specific remote job sites. So you guys remember, or maybe you've already used some of them before, but when I was in college, some of the top job sites were like monster.com, and there's some really big ones like Indeed, and just huge job aggregate sites where remote jobs can exist, but they can get lost in the mix. Then we have another layer of mostly remote job sites. So kind of a larger niche job site, or like an umbrella job site for remote jobs. And then from there, there's even more specific job sites. So you can actually look on a specific set of sites if you are working in a creative field as a graphic designer or something like that. There's even more niche down sites where you can find remote creative jobs or remote design jobs and things like that. So some of the most well-known job sites, and this is like real jobs, guys, because I get a lot of questions about how to find legit remote jobs that aren't scams. So these are like real, legit jobs. I haven't had much exposure to those scam jobs, but I have seen them out there on the internet. So this is real jobs, all right? What else is here? So the biggest, well, there's a lot of job sites that claim to be the biggest, but some of the biggest ones are Flex Jobs. This is a really cool site. They also publish a lot of information and really good blog articles. So they call themselves the biggest site for curated, remote, and flexible jobs. And actually, in my research, I realized that pretty much every job site is a curated job site. So this, or they claim to be. So basically means that they hand pick, or they want to create the appearance of like handcrafting and curating these remote jobs, especially for you. And I actually found one guy who is doing the opposite, and he's created like a way to like an API, or he's using other sites' APIs as a way to like aggregate all of the listings together. So it's like the opposite of hand curated. But I thought that was pretty funny, since these are like major sites that all claim to have like teams of people out there combing the internet looking for the best jobs for you. But I don't know, I kind of doubt that some of them are really doing it that way without some type of machine learning or automation. Remote.com is another big one. They have over 2 million members. They use their own proprietary AI to analyze different job applicants, like skills and experience, and then they try to help match you with jobs. They say that they have matched 50 million jobs to date. So that is a lot of jobs. And a lot of these sites, guys, as a side note, it's free for the job applicants on most of them. And then the companies have to pay. So that's actually kind of a good sign. If companies are paying hundreds of dollars for like a 1-month job posting versus just if it was for free, you're getting higher quality jobs on these sites. So we've had remote.com, and we also have remote.co. This is also like Flex Jobs, a remote work resource where they have a lot of research, a lot of articles. You know, it's good for their SEO. It helps them compete with the other sites. And they also, like many of the sites, they have an option. Some of them have an option where you can create your own profile. You can actually apply to jobs directly through the sites. Some of them take you to like a third-party landing page or a human resources page. Some of them you can just browse. You don't have to create an account at all. And then some of them let you create a very elaborate, intricate account with your resume and all of your job skills and keywords and things like that. So you can kind of choose how in depth you want to go with the job search, if you just want to browse or if you want to actively post your information on the site and hope that recruiters and companies find you that way. This is actually a really good option for people who already have technology skills, so lots of programmers, engineers, UX, UI designers, like all of those types of developers, software people. You put in your keywords, Python, Ruby, whatever it is, and you can get a lot of inquiries that way. Some other ones that I really like, so AngelList, which is where the world meets startups. You can actually create a profile on AngelList and try to stick out there among other job applicants, or you can apply to jobs on that site. So that's one that you can create a really detailed, intricate profile. Some of the other ones I like are Pangian, which their tagline is the fastest growing remote community worldwide. We Work Remotely, which used to be another site. I think it got acquired and they changed their name. I can't remember which one it was, but they are another one of the largest communities online to find remote jobs. Let's see. JogSpresso is another one with expertly curated remote jobs. There's that curated word again. They have over 100,000 remote workers registered on the site, and it's free for job seekers. RemoteOK.io. This was built by Peter Levels, who's the same guy who built Nomad List, which is a pretty big digital nomad forum and site that has information about different travel destinations from the perspective of a digital nomad. He's kind of a serial entrepreneur, and he created this site a few years ago, and it's pretty basic, to be honest. It wouldn't be my first choice, but I don't know. He says that there are over 1 million remote workers on this job board. Also, on a lot of these sites, you can create daily email notifications. So you can have the site email you jobs that fit a specific set of criteria, so you don't have to go checking these jobs every day. So you can just make really customized email alerts from each one for free. A couple other ones are Remote Work Hub. Let's see, Just Remote. Remotive, which is a super cool site. It actually, I love this story. Remotive started as a Medium article, and it kind of transformed. It went from a Medium article to a weekly newsletter in like 2014 to a kind of a startup, basically. And the founders, let's see, the founder was a former employee of Accenture and Google. So their claim to fame is being voted #1 on Product Hunt. So that's kind of how they came into this space. And they've differentiated themselves by basically being like a paid job forum. So remote workers can pay like a one-time lifetime membership, and you can get on there and talk with other freelancers and remote workers and also look for jobs. But it kind of gives you that extra community aspect. And the lifetime membership costs $79. They also have some online courses and things like that. Hubstaff, this is a company that I've been following for many years. They create like a remote work project management interface, but they also have, let's see, employee tracking software, things like that. And they have somehow, I think because of all of their remote, fully distributed company clients, they eventually transformed part of their company into a remote job board. So that's pretty cool because a lot of the jobs that are posted on Hubstaff are coming directly from customers of the Hubstaff product, even though that's not a requirement to post a job there. So it kind of grew organically, and they have a lot of really high quality jobs. Oh yeah, here's the one that this guy named Mike started. He was a remote worker back in 2008, and he decided to start his own job board. And so he created one called Remotely Awesome Jobs. You don't even have to register to look for a job, and it doesn't seem like there's any sort of like pricing structure. But his like claim to fame is that he crawls other remote job sites so that you don't have to. So I actually found this one to be really useful, really simple, no fluff, just works. Speaking of no fluff, No Desk is another curated collection of remote jobs. You guys can check that out. It's a bit smaller than some of the other ones, but sometimes that can mean, quality over quantity. What are some of the other ones? I like, oh yeah, I like this one. I heart remote work. No accounts, no hassle, just jobs. It's free. I think that one was free. Working Nomads is another popular one, another curated job board. And there's some other like niche ones. Let me look for one. Oh yeah, so Indeed, like those big sites, one of the biggest job sites in the world. On those, you can search for remote jobs, but they don't have the best search features compared to the boards that are specifically for remote jobs. Oh, the Muse. I liked this one. And the Muse kind of appears like they want to be like the boards, but they just are like, I don't know, they just seem a bit like cooler. They have their own book called The New Rules of Work. And they have a lot of really helpful blog articles. They're doing a really good job, actually. I liked the way that their site was set up. So yeah, I would kind of avoid like the bigger sites like Glassdoor. It's just huge. So you might have more luck in one of the smaller sites. There's a really cool site I found called The Penny Hoarder, which actually has like work from home job listings, and they have a lot of content and information on how to start your own side hustle and how to make money on the side or online. And it's like a hustle website. I really liked that one. And oh, ZipRecruiter. So ZipRecruiter is a company that you may have heard of. They're really big. They seem to advertise in podcasts a lot, at least the ones that I listen to. And I looked at them because they have, it's a way for entrepreneurs to hire good talent. And so if you are good talent, you can go there to actually be found or to find a job. Their motto is helping people find great jobs and helping employers build great companies. So they're really approaching it from like a win-win situation. Who's over here? Let's say hi to some of the peeps. Oh, Otech Lords is a Linux consultant. You're just a smarty pants, aren't you? You don't want to work too much. Yeah, I agree. Like, don't work too much. Today in my mastermind, we were discussing like, is being an entrepreneur really worth it when you work like 15 hours a day and the other people in the co-working spaces work like 4 hours a day and they make good money in their remote jobs? So I don't know, I'm not going to say any names, but there's so many people here who just seems like work part-time and they're not passionate about their jobs at all. They just have good paying remote jobs. They don't have to work a lot and they're passionate about skiing and drinking beer. There's nothing wrong with that. Hi, Vatericus. Oh, good. I'm glad you tuned into this one. I know people have been asking a lot about how to actually find these jobs, so I wanted to provide some good info, like good hard info on that, because we do a lot of live streams about all different things, and some of them aren't so technical, some of them are interviews, some of them are travel streams. So I wanted to just inject one of these, really like content heavy streams. Hola, Ángel, gracias. Te mando un abrazo fuerte también. Un besito. Okay, so yeah, let's get to some of the Tech Lords. We'll talk about some of the more technical job sites that are specific to like a certain industry or a certain job itself. So we'll start with some of the technical ones, like the developer ones. I found some of them I have known about for a while, like Hacker Noon. Have you heard of this one? Hacker Noon is also basically a blog. They're on Medium as well. It's unsurprisingly where hackers go to find work. So if you're a hacker, check out Hacker Noon if you haven't heard of it already, which you probably have. Stack Overflow, the largest online community for developers to learn and share their knowledge and build their careers. They have their own job board. So it's really just for tech people. So we'll talk about non-tech job boards as well, so don't worry about it. GitHub is another company, kind of like what Hubstaff did. They are a company that also has job board. And it's also for technical talent, and companies have to pay a lot, like $500 per listing. I found one specifically, no, two. How many did I find? I think I found a couple job sites specifically for people in Europe. One is called Landing Jobs. I really liked the way that this site was organized. It's super simple and straightforward. It was really easy to search on their site. You can filter by location, experience level, job category, or remote or in person. They also have traditional jobs on there as well. So if you work in tech in Europe, definitely check that out, or if you have a work permit to work in Europe. And then Ruby on Rails, have you heard of that one, Tech Lords? The original Ruby job board. Yeah. And dice.com. You can search 77,000 tech jobs on that site. Like, I hope if you guys find a job through one of these sites, please let me know. And okay, so what if you're not techie? What if you're more creative? Well, I got you covered. We've got a few of the creative job boards that I found. Dribble, super cool site. It is jobs for the world's top designers and creatives. They've kind of created like a remote creative community. So it's like a social network and a job board rolled into one. And they have, like, the company itself is fully remote and distributed. So that's always good when the remote job board companies are also remote companies themselves. Nodesk also had a specific category for creative jobs. I wrote that down. I found some like primarily US-based creative jobs on a site called Krop, K-R-O-P. And then there is a group called the Creative Group, which is also like, it's like Robert Half and the Creative Group, where they have freelance, contract, project, and full-time jobs. And that is roberthalf.com. And then I found a ton of websites specifically for writing jobs. So it's really cool that you can go specifically to a site for your niche. So let's say you already have a writing job that's not remote, but you want to be remote, but you don't necessarily just want to be a freelancer. You can go to one of these writing remote job boards. And then some of them have also traditional jobs as well, and also freelancing, but you can actually get like paid like part-time or full-time jobs. I found a lot, but some of the best ones I found were journalism jobs. Let's see, paidtoblog.co, problogger.com was a good one. And then also I was looking around, you can find like writing groups on LinkedIn. There's also some newsletters. There's one called the Freelance Writing Morning Coffee e-newsletter that has jobs sometimes. And what was this one? I don't remember. Just want to check before I tell you. Oh yeah, Contena, C-O-N-T-E-N-A. That one was pretty cool. You can find like writing and editing jobs on that site. Let's see. And then also, if you're really good at one or a few specific skills, like if you're good in a tech capacity or writing capacity or, you know, development, whatever it is, if you guys haven't heard of TopTal, if it's like the top 3% of freelancers. So if you have some skills that really work for freelancing, but you don't necessarily want to jump into the fray on a site like freelancer.com or Upwork, you can submit your skills through TopTal and get recruited that way. And LinkedIn also has something like this. It's called LinkedIn Professional, which is basically for really high-end freelancers, I guess you could say. And then I also found a couple other like super niche job boards, some for women. There's actually a new community for women that just opened like this month, I think. and it's for women in tech by Y Combinator, so super snazzy, called Alpha, ELPHA, alpha.com. If you're a German speaker, you can go to DNX's website. So DNX is like the digital nomad community. They run the DNX conference in Lisbon, and they have a lot of German speaking jobs, remote jobs on their job board. And then there are, if you want to like do something philanthropic or try to change the world, I found a site called Idealist that has interesting like job options for digital nomads who want to like do very good things in the world. And then another one for Europe, Europe Remotely is for remote workers based in Europe. And let's see what else. I think those are the biggest ones. Oh, another job board for like, oh, this one was really cool. So this is for triple vetted freelancers. So if you are a tech ninja, you can go over to gun.io and you can basically get like hand matched with a company by other like hackers and tech people and programmers. And that is really cool. It says it's an open source platform with hacker DNA, and over 90% of their clients hire the first freelancer that they introduce to them. So basically you have tech savvy top 1% type of freelancers who are matching other freelancers in their specific field with companies. So this seems like a very effective business model, maybe even not necessarily business model, but just service. I mean, it would basically be like graphic designers helping, like creating a job service or job matching service to help companies hire the best graphic designers, because who's going to know who's the best at graphic design besides expert graphic designers? So I think that's really cool. They actually test the freelancers as well. So you've got to really show that you know your stuff. And they have the fastest vetting as well. These guys are ninjas, really ninjas. So those are the biggest, like, those are a lot of the biggest and best and like most niche down remote job boards. But that's not the only way to find a job. You can do more digging and more work by finding a cool company that you want to work for and then applying directly through their website. So you can also Google different combinations just straight in the Google search panel of a company that you like and maybe a keyword of a job skill that you have, or just Google like remote jobs plus the company, or the company plus job opening, or plus careers, or whatever you want to search for. So you can actually, or just go directly to different company websites and look up their jobs or careers tab or link on the site. And then you can also do the same thing kind of by searching and going directly to hiring managers or companies on LinkedIn and sites like that. And you can also get, I think you can get a lot of opportunities through informal means like Facebook groups, but it's just hard to really screen those. And Facebook groups are really, like, you can search them pretty easily, but to find if they're updated or active. So you can totally find jobs that way. I know in my Facebook group, I post some cool remote jobs that I find just randomly on the internet. And somebody from my group said that they actually got hired by one of the companies that I found through a remote work press release that I thought looked like a cool place to work. So you can get lucky that way. You can also, if the Facebook group that you're in allows you to post that you want a job, or if you're in like a remote jobs group and their rules allow it, you can actually post that you're looking for something specific. But I would just say to make sure that you're really like complying with the norms and the culture of the group before like spamming it. So you want to make sure that you're being respectful there. And then you can also join other digital nomad communities and forums. So like Remotive, the job board I was talking about, that also has a community. There are other digital nomad communities as well, where you can get into Slack, like private Slack channels and groups, and talk with people. And that could be a way of like digital networking, where you can talk to people who have the inner, like, I guess, like insider knowledge about job openings at their own company. So, it could basically be like a referral or like a tip that there's a job opening, that you can find it maybe even before it gets posted on one of the big job boards. Yeah, so those are some of my tips for actually finding like legit remote jobs. Oh, thanks, Tech Lords, you're amazing. We got another Bitcoin donation. Yay! Thank you. I actually left my phone at home charging, so I don't know, but thank you so much. I wish I could. Can I post images in my chat? I have emotes for Twitch, but I don't know if I can post them in here. There's got to be a way. I think if I live stream to YouTube through OBS, maybe it's possible to use my emotes. I'm going to need to look into that, because the YouTube platform is a bit limited. I'm like scrolling emojis right now. Thank you. There is one. Here we go. Yeah, this is like too hard to find the good emojis in here. Everybody hold, please. I don't even know if I can search emojis here. I gotta find the best ones. There we go. Okay. So does anyone have questions about that? Did you learn anything new? I also have a lot of other tips, but like basically, okay, so that's how to find a lot of remote jobs. I think maybe we should do another live stream on how to apply for remote jobs, or maybe some tips for that, because there are certain things that you can do to stand out or to enhance your online profile or clean up your profile. Developing your own personal brand, I think, is going to be really important going into the future, because if 50% of the population is going to be freelancing or working remotely in some capacity, then how do you stand out next to other people who are going for the same jobs? Like, can you think offhand of like very famous software developers, for example? Like, if you become one of like the top 0.1% of user experience designers who has like a really public profile and an audience of people who are also passionate about the same thing, then you might actually get job offers from companies that are like, oh, I'm looking for a UX UI rock star, and they're like, oh, there's only like one of them or 10 of them in the world. And so you can actually end up having companies approach you for jobs the same way, like even things like this, having a YouTube channel, having a blog, having a super active Twitter feed, whatever platform you choose, and just talking about what you know, whether it's creative or technical, you're just going to attract some more cool friends. Or crypto, for example, and you'll just become more well-known in your industry. You'll also learn more, and you'll share more about what you know. So instead of just doing your job, you can kind of add another layer to that of of talking about things that you care about in your industry and getting other people to join that conversation. And then that can lead to job opportunities and other sorts of opportunities, speaking opportunities, collaborations, interviews. Because of articles I've written online, I've gotten a lot of requests to like guest blog on other people's pages or to write articles together and collab. And that's just kind of part of the magic of the economy that we live in right now, where these sorts of things can happen and you just can make it up as you go along, and you can create with other people and interact with them. And that, I think, all contributes to like the circle of life, you know, making the world a better place. So, and then the other thing, just, oh shoot. Okay, I thought I closed this, like my window just closed. Something else is, you know, when you do apply for remote jobs, just remember to adapt each application, each resume, each cover letter to the job. You know, don't just like up, and, you know, it could take some time, but I definitely think that there's a lot of opportunities out there. There's a lot of jobs out there. There's a big gap in skills, and, you know, there's opportunities for jobs that can't really be filled. So if you have the skills to fill a job and you want to work remotely, then just go for it, because you never know what can happen. All right, guys. It is getting late and I am going to go finish some email. So I hope that this was valuable and helpful to any remote job seekers out there. And if you're new to the stream, then welcome to the Daily Digital Nomad live stream. And make sure to subscribe and all of that great stuff, and ring the bell for notifications so that you can have access to every single topic that we cover on this channel, from travel to remote work, digital nomadism, location independence, and what other announcements do I have for the week? Oh yes, Estonia vlog #1 is coming out this week. So keep an eye out for that. That is on a Wednesday. Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. I might change the date, the publishing videos day, to Tuesday. I haven't decided yet. We'll just keep it at Wednesday for now. But yeah, this vlog is very different from anything I've ever made. It's weird. It's definitely different, but I think it's a fun change to involve like more of just the travel part, kind of the whole like behind the scenes part of the digital nomad lifestyle that I talk about, where I basically took off work for a few days and drove around Estonia and documented it. So it gets a little weird, but we'll post part 1. There's 2 parts to the vlog. So part 1 is this week, and then maybe part 2 next week. So, all right, and see you guys tomorrow on another live stream, Traveling with Kristin. Thank you, Tech Lords, again for the donation, and bye to everybody else who's hanging out in here. Vatericus, A-Card 89. Ciao, guys.